There's something powerful about being forcefully undressed publicly and choosing not to hide, but to stand there in all your glory saying, "This is me." Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Sharon Let's Live with Marlene Dillon Empowerment Specialist. As you can tell, I'm in the car. I was thinking about my life and the season I'm in. Putting the windows up. The season I'm in that I'm calling a season of crushing. Like how grapes are pressed to create wine, or oranges are squeezed to get the juice. That's what my life is right now. I am being pressed on every side, in a sense. And as I was thinking about that, these words came to me. There's something powerful about being forcefully undressed publicly and choosing not to hide, but to stand there in all your glory saying, "This is me." And yes, that is my own, those are my own words. And that's how I feel right now. I feel like life has given me an opportunity through some really, really, really painful shit. This doesn't make sense. I don't deserve this kind of shit. Sorry, it's like blazing hot and I have to turn the air on and it does this dragon breathing thing before it gets going. But praise God for air conditioning, because that's new. So yeah, I have just been navigating a season, and I'll be honest, probably more honest than I would ever be. This season has been so painful that it has caused me to wonder if I even want to be here, like on earth anymore. And that is, that's hard to, that's hard to admit to, especially like in something that can be preserved and shared and all that. But I just want to be honest. Like, I am Marlene Dillon Empowerment Specialist. I specialize in sharing empowering messages. I'm all about my motto of I use people, which stands for inspire, uplift, support, and empower, or encourage, depending on which E I feel like using that day. Typically both. And life is whooping my ass to the point where it's kind of got me on the fence. Like, what is the point? And that's just how it is. Luckily, I have such a strong commitment to my child that regardless of how painful the season I'm in becomes or is, I ain't going nowhere. I will stay here bruised and bloody with, whatever teeth I got left from this battle. And actually, that kind of creeps me out. I really love having teeth. But still, no one's going to bother my teeth. But yeah, oh my God, she's gorgeous. Oh, sorry, focus, ADHD. So yeah, I just saw the most beautiful, dark-skinned, deep chocolate sister with gigantic curly hair. That's my thing. Melanin and curls, baby. But yeah, so if you're not familiar, I am the author of the book, the empowering children's book, I'm Proud to Be Natural Me, which is the story of a little girl who is teased because of the texture of her hair. And her mom explains to her that her hair is part of her identity, that she is beautiful the way that God created her. And by the end of the story, she is saying, I've learned to love what I see. I'm proud to be natural me. And back to the podcast. Available on Amazon. Okay, now back to the podcast. So, so this season is, man, it is next level. God, do you even, before it was God, do you love me? Now it's like, God, do you even exist? It's been bad. It's been bad, real bad. And I've had to check myself over and over and over again to not give up. What you want? Are you parking? Over and over again, I've had to tell myself, like, don't give up, you can't give up. I've been posting don't give up, but I'm really telling myself and anybody else who is in the same type of energy of fighting for their lives right now. And people ask me or comment on how honest I am on this podcast, and the reality is somebody got to say it. Everybody's walking around faking like they've got it all together, and we don't. Like, I'm empowering, yes. I believe that things get better. I believe that things are meant to be good, that we can control our destinies by controlling our thoughts, and that things really can improve in our lives by the quality of the thoughts that we entertain. And and I am a real person who has real shit going on, and only reason I can even teach the stuff that I teach is because I'm living it. Like, as much as I would want to complain or just live in frustration, the reality is, sorry, I got to drop off a letter from my dad at this mailbox. The reality is that how do you get it in there? Oh, that's new. Okay. The reality is that that you can be both. It's not an either or. You can be positive and empowering and inspiring and hold belief that things get better, and you can be in the worst season of your life. You can be in the worst season of your life. You can be battling your own thoughts of, do I want to be here or not? Suicidal ideation can come up in the life of someone who is empowering and inspiring. And it's like, I see these, and this is actually something I've been wanting to post for a while, but I was too scared to do it. What I'm about to say. I have been watching as like inspiring teachers and bloggers and actors and people who everybody looks to as, sorry, here comes the air conditioner dragging. People who everyone looks to as like they're, they've got it together and they're always happy, when in actuality that's just not real. I mean, I'm sure there are some people who have, cracked the code and mastered how to maintain happiness no matter what. But I would say for most of us, we got to work at that shit. And it doesn't take away from the fact that we teach what we teach, or that we share what we share, or that we even believe what we believe. We all have our own battles to fight. And part of the reason why I do what I do is because of the fight. Like, the reason why I am so big on empowering and encouraging children to believe in themselves and adults to follow their dreams and all of us to believe that it can get better is because that's what I'm doing for myself. That's what I had to do for myself. I had to overcome being beat down with criticism and, lack of support and people only noticing what I do wrong and never noticing what I do right, and even assuming that I'm doing wrong when I'm not. Like, I've had to overcome that. So it matters to me. So it's what drives me to do what I do, because I want children to know what I didn't know, if that makes sense to you. So as I'm in this season, man, it's like I'm still an optimist. So I'm just like, it's gonna get better. It's getting better. It's getting better. And then like shit gets hotter and worse. And it's just like, wait. Wait, that's not what's supposed to happen right now. But the blessing of it all, and that's really crazy that I can actually call it a blessing, but the blessing of it all is that I'm getting to witness and then tell my testimony as I'm going through it, what I'm noticing about how it's happening and why it's happening. And it's not about self-blame or anything like that. It's about acknowledging the patterns. One of the things that I am really good at, because I've had to be good at it by being neurodivergent, is I am excellent. I am superb. I am magnificent and uniquely skilled at watching patterns. To a fault at times. I recognize changes in facial expressions that are like micro changes. I recognize the change in the energy in the room. I'm hyper aware of sound and and visual and all that stuff, because I've had to be able to read a room in order to really to survive. And those same skills support me in other aspects of life. And right now, those skills are supporting me in figuring out what the fuck I'm doing wrong to keep experiencing the shit that I've been experiencing. And what I realize is, one, is that I'm an amazing manifester. Good God, I am good at it. I can do it almost instantly. And I'm manifesting the wrong shit. I can manifest some bullshit in a heartbeat, in a half second, in a quarter of a second. And I do it because my habitual thoughts, as much as I am conditioning myself to be positive and to speak positivity and to think positivity, I am conditioned toward negativity. Like I have been in an environment with worry warts for most of my life. People who notice every possibility of what can go wrong. People who are pessimists and who will, seconds after you come up with a brilliant idea, and they're just like, that's a great idea. Like, who immediately go to, wait, how can you afford that? How are you going to pay for that? How's that going to work out? Like, you sure? Do you know the people? Do you have the resource? Like, people who will assassinate a dream before you even get it fully out of your mouth. Like, that's what I've been around. I've been around people who, don't look at it as, let's go outside and get some air, but don't go outside, it's danger in the streets. Like, that's what I come from. That's what I've been around. That's what I've heard my whole life. So as much as I am shifting that type of thinking and that way of being, it is still very natural for me. Oh, Lord, with these potholes. I'm safe. That's just the sound of me navigating Chicago potholes. So, yeah. So, what I realized, and I shared about it on the podcast yesterday, is that I am a brilliant manifester. And the reason that I'm so good at manifesting bad shit and unfortunate circumstances is because without thinking about it, meaning without being aware of my thoughts, I am thinking about all the shit that can go wrong. Constantly. Like it's on loop in my mind. I'm hearing what they could possibly say. I'm imagining all the reasons why I am underqualified, unqualified, disqualified. I'm picturing how I will be rejected, what the words will be, what the facial expressions will be, what the body language is going to look like, even though I am not actively. Now that's the fucked up part. Even though, oh dear Jesus, they really need to stop playing with these streets. Even though I am not actively thinking those thoughts, they are there. And, oh, Jesus H. Christ, these people, they should get fired. So even though I'm not actively thinking these thoughts, they are still there. And what I shared recently on the podcast is that our thoughts don't come from us, they come to us. And if you don't believe me, think about a moment where a thought came to you that was so horrific that you would have never, ever thought that on your own. Oh my God, it's actually 100 degrees. That explains why I am still sweating with the air conditioning on. So imagine, like, try to remember a time when you had a thought or a dream that was so horrific that you, again, I don't want you to like relive it, like don't traumatize yourself, but just think of the idea of that you have had that experience. Or when something happened and your knee-jerk reaction was to do something that you would never do in a million years. Whether it was, that you're, there was this meme, I don't know if you've ever seen the ones with the Kermit the Frog memes where it's like the regular Kermit, and then there's like the Kermit that looks like the Angel of Death or whatever, like he's got this hood on, and basically like the regular Kermit says, I really can't afford this, and then the other Kermit with the hood is like, you could if you went to self-checkout. so that kind of thinking, like you would never steal, but now you're like, you know what? This would be a whole lot easier if I didn't have to pay for it. Like those kind of thoughts. Like that is not your thought, because you of yourself would not think that. You would not even entertain doing anything like that, And similarly, when we have these thoughts that put us in a negative headspace, they don't come from us either. They're just suggestions, in a sense. They are, one person explained it in a way that I thought was a great way to look at it, where they basically said that thoughts are kind of like energy bubbles floating through the air, and they have like an electrical charge. They have like a certain vibration, and if you happen to be within a certain energy of that vibration, then those thoughts don't pass you by. They come to you. Like you attract them because they're similar to the energy you're in. So maybe you would never commit suicide. I'm sorry to be so blunt, but maybe you would never commit suicide. Like that's something that is just like a hell no never in your mind. But you're depressed, or you're going through a lot of bad stuff. Somebody else who was in a similar place going through bad stuff might have been contemplating suicide. And because thoughts, this is the other thing about thoughts. Every thought that was ever thought, and these are things that I've learned over time, as I've been on my own personal development journey, that have helped me to make sense of life. Every thought that has ever been thought still exists in the universe. And if we are within range of that kind of thought, we are able to attract that kind of thought. So you might just be sad, but depressed thoughts are close enough to sadness to be within range of thoughts that you can pick up on. If you look at it like a radio frequency, like you might not be directly on, 96.3 or 107.5, but if you turn the dial a little bit, like say you're at 107.3 or 107.1, you might be able to hear a little bit of the music coming through, or the people talking on that radio station. And that's kind of the way it works with thoughts and energy, is that if you're within range, sorry that it's so loud in my background, but I cannot die here. It's 100 degrees. That if you're within range, then you can pick up on that energy and those kind of thoughts that are floating around looking for somebody to attach to. So similarly, as I've been dealing with all these challenges that I've been dealing with lately, my habitual thoughts, like from the past, that are similar, or the things that I've thought during those times, or experiences that I've had that feel similar to this one, like memories, are thoughts essentially. These things have been coming back to me, and then they put me in this place of terror. So the example I used yesterday was I was waiting on my name to be called, or my number to be called, because I had like this paperwork to turn in, and I was supposed to get approval from these people or whatever. And when I was watching the people who were going up to be, for them to look over their paperwork, the man didn't seem very nice. I saw him kind of getting into it with people. But the lady seems really, really sweet. Just love all over that woman. So, it was coming out her pores. So, I'm thinking, oh my God, I would really love to go to that woman. But is that what I chose to focus on? No. Every memory of every time that I have been in a situation similar, where people have been mean, or where people have been, where I've had the rude DMV employee. I think they're nicer now, but I don't know, because I only go to the good one. Go to that one in the hood. But anyway, so with all of the experiences that I've had of rude people at the county hospital, and rude people at the DMV or the currency exchange, or wherever, those memories come back, and then it's on loop in my mind. Oh God, I don't want to get that guy. Oh God, I don't want to get that guy. Oh God, I don't want to get that guy. And then of course I got that guy. Of course I did, because that's all I was thinking. And I wasn't even thinking about it that long, but I was thinking about it intensely, with complete fear, as if it had already happened. Oh my God, he's going to be terrible, and then he's going to tell me I can't do this, and he's going to tell me that this is not it, and I don't have the right paperwork. And I was in a full freak out over something that didn't actually happen, because I was afraid of repeating an experience I've had before. And what I learned from that yesterday, which is the intention of all of this going around the block, the intention is for you to understand that we end up manifesting bullshit because we are unaware, and we are not controlling the thoughts that are going on in our minds that are on loop about what we don't want to happen. And sometimes they happen so quickly that we don't even notice that the thought happened. So yesterday, I was talking about doing positive affirmations, because our thoughts have been what they are for a while. We've got memories, we've had moments and experiences, we've had other people's stories which become part of our mental experience. We log those as if they happened to us, because we see them as possibilities, and all of that stuff is in there. So it's kind of like a moving train, like a runaway train that we're trying to stop. Instead of trying to stop a runaway train, we can, to keep us from racing toward what we don't want, we can create a new habit of focusing on what we do want, of telling ourselves what to think in these moments. So when my mind is calling me a stupid bitch, just being honest, because, it does that sometimes. When I make a mistake, reliving experiences of being called whatever. When I have those moments, I have to combat that. I have to either combat it or just just combat it in the sense of I'm not actually fighting the thought, I'm creating a new thought. So I use it as a trigger to remind me to say an affirmation so that thought doesn't get to take hold. That it's not like putting down a brick in my mind, creating a wall of I'm stupid in my mind. Instead of that, I kind of block that brick with, no, I'm actually smart. No, I actually have a master's degree and I did it under the worst possible circumstances. Maybe I didn't understand in school, but I actually taught myself for most of my elementary school education because I didn't understand in school and no one would help me at home. So that actually means I'm really smart. And I do that so that I am sending a train down the track toward I get to have what I want, toward my dreams, toward all the positive things that I want. Because if I hop on the train with, yeah, you're right, I am a stupid bitch. It feels bad to even say it, but I'm just being honest. I'm being way, way honest, as usual. And rather than hop on that train yeah, you're right, I don't even know what I was thinking trying to do this or going in this direction or trying to be, instead of co-signing on the I belong on the stupid track headed toward nowhere path, that's my trigger when I hear those kind of words coming to my mind, man, you messed up again. Oh, you're a failure. All of that stuff, which I do hear. I get to say, well, actually, these are my successes. I actually succeeded at this, at this, at this, at this, at this. And it's about creating putting cars on the train and increasing the speed of the train in the direction that you want to go, rather than hopping on that train, riding downhill to nowhere and destruction. So I hope that you gained something from this. I need to run in here to have a different experience than I had yesterday. So I appreciate you. I love you. I thank you for being here. I believe in you. I want you to believe in yourself. Start using those negative thoughts as triggers to create new positive affirmations so that when the thought comes back again, you have something to say. You have something to think other than what is being suggested to you. This is Marlene Dillon Empowerment Specialist. Thank you for imagining with me. Have an amazing whatever time of day it is for you. Blessings. To learn more about me, Marlene Dillon Empowerment Specialist, please visit mdillondesigns.com. There you can find more podcast episodes. You can read my inspirational blog. You can check out my online store of personalized gifts featuring the characters from my empowering children's book, I'm Proud to Be Natural Me. You can find parenting resources, including my online communication course, Healing Our Families, Healing the Parent-Child Relationship. Please follow and share if you found this podcast inspiring.